Now look at this, look at this. These are all floors in Autodesk Revit 2020. And this here is Dynamo player, which allows us to run Dynamo without all the mess. Now see what it's doing with just one click. Correct. It is creating dimensions. And can you see this little switch here which says only ends? Not to be mistaken with only fans. This little switch here, as you might have guessed, is just giving us the ends, which means the sides, the most distant sides of these shapes. And it's even giving us a little dimension here, this triangle, because it has two parallel faces. Of course, if you actually edit this triangle and create one more parallel face here, so it's no longer a triangle but a trapezoid, and then I run this again, this would switch. It will go to the end. And of course, if I switch off the only ends option, it will dimension both of those. Now let's open Dynamo and see what's going on. Hello, my name is Victor and you're with Revit Experiments. You can find more about me on revitexperiments.com, and today I'm going to show you this new node. It's actually not a node, because my other nodes, I have other nodes that you can find if you go to revitexperiments.com and you go to downloads, and you can see these dimension bins. You can find some nodes, some scripts that I've made here with their video descriptions. And this new node now is something that I'm going to add to this bundle here. And why it exists first is because one of my customers who bought this bundle actually asked me about this, so I just actually made it for him, pretty much. Anyway, these are mostly nodes. And it appears that it's a bit counterintuitive for some to download these nodes and use them in Dynamo. So now, if you decide to go and get this one, it is going to be a DIN file like this, with this Python node here. And you're also going to have a text file with the Python code inside, so you can actually just have that in case something happens. And this thing I have tested so far in Revit 2018, 2019, 2020 and 2021, so it works everywhere with Dynamo versions 2 point something. And actually now I'm going to test if it will work in Dynamo version 1.3 if I just copy the code there. But let's go step by step. And first I'm going to show you what is happening here. How did we do what we saw with the Dynamo player? And here it is. Like the first thing I have to say, to be able to use anything in the Dynamo player, you need some inputs if you want to amend something there. So as you saw that switch that I had in the Dynamo player, the only end, I'm not gonna make that joke again, the only end switch there, here is just a Boolean node with a name. So how to make this Boolean node appear in the Dynamo player? Well, first I have to say is input. You can see that this one is already set to is input. And second, I don't want to just see Boolean as a switch. I want to see what it does. So that's why I just go here and rename the node. Anyway, that's how to make inputs while using the Dynamo player. What's happening here is that I have just selected all floors, and I'm creating dimensions for all the floors. Here I have two options: the dimension type and update or create new. And for those of you who are familiar with my other dimensioning nodes, you already know those inputs very well, and this is what they look like when you open the node. Once again, now I'm not going to have a node, so I don't need the output at all, and I just got rid of it. And update or create new is another boolean that currently I have just set to true, because I want those dimensions to always be updated. You saw how when I was running the script over and over again, it just kept updating those dimensions and didn't create new ones on top of them. That's this boolean. If you want to create new ones and not to update, you just connect here a boolean, so one of those, and you set it to false, and you connect it here. Then it will create new ones. Actually, we can test this quickly. Like right now, only ends is set to false, right? And if I run it now, I can see that it's still updating those. If I set it to false, it's still updating them. But if I connect this false value here and set true, it now creates another set of dimensions. And to be able to control this in the Dynamo player, you remember, I just right click and say is input. If I don't do this, this is not going to be available in the Dynamo player. And dimension type here. So if I have a certain type of dimension that I want to use with those, I'm just going to select all of these and get rid of them, because we got a bit too many now when we switched off the update. I can go to element types, and I can go here to select the dimension types. If I press D, we're going to the dimension types, and I can go to all elements of type, which is going to give us all the dimension types. And right now, if I go to Revit and create a new dimension type, like just edit that one, duplicate, call it red or something. I'm just gonna make it red to know which one's the red one. And if I run this now, like this. By the way, if this here is no, the default value, it will just use the default dimension value, or might be the last one that's been in use is the default one, something like this. But then here we got 38 types, and we need to pick one. And how do we know which one? Well, if I just type in here name and family.name, we're gonna get the names of those types. So the red is the 37 one, the 38 actually, under the index of 37, and I can just go here and select it like this. And the reason we are choosing a dimension type like this is because we don't have a dimension types drop-down menu provided by the Dynamo developers. or by me, but yeah, I'm too lazy to do it apparently. And then if we connect this here, where is that? It's the in one, like this. If I just connect it there instead of the new, and I run this again, this should all become red, which you can, I mean, I don't really use that option anyway, because what I can do is just select them here and change them manually. But still, it's a nice thing to have, and it's a nice thing to know that you have it. And this is the node, basically. Now this, I'm gonna actually remove that. I don't want to save this. So if you forget how to do it, just come back to this video or to one of the other dimension nodes videos and you see. And I'm going to save this. And of course here I just select all the floors. But I have another workflow where you can just make a selection. And before doing this, yeah, I'm just gonna open it. And you can also use this with the Dynamo player. But how it works is, I'm just gonna remove the dimensions first. Like this. Select all view. Everywhere. And I'm just gonna select some floors. The selection method is up to you, and then I'm just gonna hit F5 to run this. So we only create dimensions for the selected floors. And here I have actually added a check. Is it a floor? If it is a floor, create a dimension there, because if I now want to select like this, I have also selected a bunch of dimensions. And if we don't do that check here, our node is going to return an error and say, hey man, this is not a floor, this is a dimension. You cannot dimension a dimension. Anyway, so now with that check here, it doesn't really matter, it just works. And here it creates all of these dimensions to all the parallel faces. So how it works internally, what's inside that node? Well, it's a Python node, and it's a bit long one. And what it does is it finds all the parallels in a floor, and it creates a dimension for either all the faces or the furthest apart. And this is really interesting actually, because I haven't done this before, and now I'm going to do it for the first time here. But let's say we create a floor which has a weird shape, like that one. And let's say I need 8 of those. So what? I just need 8 of you, like this. Okay, so when we have that kind of floor, you know, these two are parallel, these two are parallel. Let's check it. I don't, I don't do that kind of floor every day, but heck, let's just check what's happening. Oh, that's cool. Now we have created a dimension for these ones because they're parallel, for these ones because they're parallel, for these ones because they're parallel, and these ones too, which is pretty sweet. I mean, we can obviously use it on floors with a hole. I'm going to change that to shade it to be able to see that. Here it is actually in Revit 2018. I have prepared test file. This is the oldest version of Revit that I'm still using. By the way, I started using Revit with version 2011 back in the day. It's now my 10th Revit anniversary, which is really nice. Anyway, so I can actually go here to manage and go into Open Dynamo. And if I select Dynamo 2.0.4 or whatever it was, I can just go and open that node, and it will open, like, not the node, the Dynamo definition. And you can see, like, opening Dynamo the first time, it takes some time. It just takes a while. And that's why the first time when you run a script via the Dynamo player, it also takes a while, just because it's opening Dynamo in the background for you. It's not that the script is not working or that the script is slow, it's just that opening of Dynamo in the background process. So this is my Revit 2018. And I can just go and drag that same definition here. It should just open, even though it's from two versions of Revit later and different versions of Dynamo. If it is Dynamo 2 point something, it should just open with no problem. And now I'm selecting this, and I don't care that I selected also the elevation. It's filtered out here, and if I click run, the dimensions are created. And if I set this to the other value and set it back, so it works as expected. And I did that in Revit. This is Revit 2021, which says 2020 test. So apparently I just used the wrong name. And if we go here to Revit 2019, okay, I have too many versions of Revit open right now. So I'm in Revit 2019 now, and I'm going to open Dynamo. And I'm going to select Dynamo 1.34. The versions up until Revit 2019 can support like two separate versions of Dynamo. So I'm opening this and I'm gonna close 2018. And okay, I have now Dynamo 1.3.4. And if I do the same, if I just drag that here, it's not gonna open. It's gonna give me this error message saying error opening corrupted file. That doesn't mean that the file is corrupted. That just means that it's made in a Dynamo version 2 point something, and you're now in Dynamo 1.3. But let's check now. If I just create a new Dynamo definition and I open the Python script. This is now my Python script. I'm going to recreate my node. I have already copied its contents here to Notepad++. Okay, I'm going to close Revit 2021 as well. No, I don't want to save anything. Just want to save money. Anyway, in 2019, I'm going to open my Python script and paste my own code like this. So what else did we have here? We need something to select. Select model elements. The multiple selection. Let's select those floors. Now I select also those things, so I'm going to use the object type to filter them out. I only need the floors. So I'm just gonna type in here x equals quotation marks Revit dot elements dot floor, not floor but floor, and then I'm going to connect this here like this, and then I'm going to filter by bow mask, sorry, like this. And inside I'm just gonna have the floors, but first I'm going to switch to manual because it's dangerous to run these nodes in automatic. They will keep creating dimensions. Anyway, what were the other inputs? I forgot those kind of things, so I need to go here in 2020 and open it again. And it's already a long video, but please forgive me. And thank you so much if you are still watching me doing stuff in Revit on a Saturday night. And okay, what were the other inputs? So first one was just the dimension type, and sorry, but I'm kind of in a hurry right now, so I'm just gonna drop in a new value here, like this. Then the second one is update or create new, and I want to update, and I'm just going to drop true value here. And the last one, I believe, was edges, the most important one. And since it's an important one, I'm just gonna attach here a boolean like this, and I'm going to try to run this now, and I don't promise that it will work. My script is made for Revit, for Dynamo 2 point something. Run completed, and it gives me 0 here. Why it gives me 0? Because it's not my code. Okay, I guess I didn't copy it. I mean, 0 is the... Anyway, I cannot copy and paste. What I'm doing here, like teaching you guys doing stuff. Accept changes. Okay. And it works in Dynamo 1.3. And I didn't expect it working there, but that's why I'm giving you the code as a text file, just so we can recreate it in Dynamo 1.3 if you will. And the reason why it works is that the Revit API, which is accessed by this code, is still the same. It's still the same version of Revit. It's just a different version of Dynamo. And you're not doing anything in Dynamo apart from pushing a few values here, like true, false, and selecting elements. Everything else is done in this Python script. And this is it from me now. Like, again, I'm going to put this on my website somewhere here, dimension dins, and it's gonna cost something, I guess, but it's, you know, just a few bucks. And if you want to learn how to use Dynamo, I recently put a script on Udemy on how to use Dynamo, and you can learn more about it on my new section of the website. It's called Learn Dynamo. I have written some things here, and here you have the link to the course on Udemy, which has a very good rating, but not so many reviews yet, unfortunately. And anyway, that's it from me for today. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I'm going to release a video on how to actually use nodes that come from somewhere and place them on your system, but that's next time. Thanks for watching and see you next time.